Okay, get this. You're hopping into a time machine, right? Heading back 66 million years.
Buckle up.
You step out, and towering above you, a creature the size of, like, a double-decker bus.
Whoa!
Its head alone, as big as a bathtub, you've come face to face with the king, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
T-Rex, the one and only.
And we're going deep
Yeah.
into its world, uncovering all sorts of cool stuff about this predator.
I've always thought it was so interesting how universally recognizable T-Rex is. Even, people who aren't dinosaur crazy.
Right, instant picture.
Total pop culture icon.
True, but with fame comes misconceptions. So today, separating facts from fiction. The real T-Rex.
Let's do it.
Its anatomy, super complex, actually.
Yes.
Those famously tiny arms, for one.
Oh, yeah.
And hunting strategies.
Oh, yeah.
We'll even take a peek at, well, some fossilized T-Rex poo.
Can't wait for that one.
If you love unearthing surprising facts about the past, hit subscribe because we have many more deep dives coming up.
T-Rex lived 67 to 66 million years ago. Not in some Jurassic Park jungle, though. Western North America. And the landscape, totally different. Picture a continent split by like a massive seaway, the Rocky Mountains just starting to rise.
Wow.
Dense forests everywhere.
Like a movie. So T-Rex, the ultimate ruler then.
The apex predator, yeah. Top of the food chain. And the amazing thing is, we actually have more T-Rex skeletons than many other dinosaur species.
More, really.
We have adults, teenagers, even hints of babies.
You mean complete skeletons, just like a few bones here and there.
Some are amazingly complete, like Sue at the Field Museum in Chicago. Having all these fossils has let paleontologists create a kind of growth series.
A growth series.
A visual timeline, basically, showing how T-Rex changed as it aged.
A dinosaur yearbook.
Yeah.
But with bones. Incredible. So what kind of insights can we get from these timelines?
Oh, we can track the changes in their skulls, their limbs, even their overall size. It shows us how they went from, small, agile youngsters to massive, bone-crushing adults. We even know they lived to about 30 years old.
30 years?
Based on growth, rings in their bones, like how we can age trees.
30 years, much shorter than I imagined.
It's crazy to think about how quickly they grew to be that enormous.
Right.
And speaking of fascinating, you mentioned T-Rex poo earlier.
I did.
Ready to dive in.
Always up for a good fossilized poop story. What can we learn from, something millions of years old?
You'd be surprised. Coprolites, which is the scientific term for fossilized poop, offer unique insights into diet. And get this, a massive T-Rex coprolite found in Saskatchewan, Canada, contained chunks of bone.
What?
Yeah.
So those powerful jaws weren't just for show. They could pulverize bone.
Exactly. T-Rex mostly stripped meat off bones.
Oh.
But finding bone fragments in its poop showed us they could crush bones.
Amazing.
This was confirmed later by bite marks. Found on Triceratops and duck-billed dinosaur fossils. Imagine the force.
It's mind-blowing. Okay, T-Rex anatomy. Let's start with that tail. I used to think it just dragged, like in the old movie.
No.
Dragged on the ground.
That's a classic misconception. That tail, it was crucial. It was counterbalance for that massive head,
Yeah, I see.
And it anchored those powerful leg muscles. They walked upright. Tail held off the ground. We even have fossilized trackways, dinosaur footprints.
Okay, they confirm this.
So those old images are totally wrong. Amazing how our view of dinosaurs changes.
It really is.
But speaking of changing views, what about those tiny arms? What's the latest?
Oh, those arms. A constant source of debate.
I bet.
Much smaller than their ancestors, but still quite muscular. Led to tons of speculation.
It couldn't have been much use hunting, right?
Probably not. The main theories suggest they might have been for bracing, during feeding, to help with that huge head as it tore into prey, or even for mating rituals, social interactions.
Fascinating.
Who knows? So seemingly useless, but maybe crucial.
That's so interesting. All right, let's move on to that head. I mean, its size, those senses, tell me everything.
That head was unbelievable, as big as a bathtub, filled with banana-sized, razor-sharp teeth.
Yikes.
But beyond size, it's the senses that are really interesting. CT scans suggest a pretty large brain for a reptile. And those big olfactory bulbs mean a powerful sense of smell.
So T-Rex is sniffing out its next meal from far away.
It's very possible. Plus, its long cochlea means keen hearing. sensitive to all sorts of sounds.
So they weren't just relying on sight.
Not at all. They could hear and smell everything around them
Wow.
with crazy precision.
Wow. I'm getting a much clearer picture of T-Rex now.
A truly multi-sensory predator.
Okay.
And their vision. Large eye sockets facing forward suggest great eyesight, potentially even 3D perception.
Hold on. 3D vision. Like us. What would that mean for a T-Rex, hunting-wise?
Imagine judging distances, tracking movement. With that kind of vision, huge advantage when hunting. Okay, I'm totally rethinking everything I thought I knew. So all these amazing features, strictly a hunter? Or did it scavenge too?
That's the question, isn't it? Their anatomy screams predator. But they probably scavenge too. To keep up with that size, they'd need a massive amount of meat.
True. So not too proud to, steal a meal if it was there.
Exactly. Survival, right. Now, I know a lot of people wonder about this. Did T-Rex have feathers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Always wondered about that.
Uh,
Hard to picture. Such a massive predator with feathers. Is there any evidence?
We haven't found direct fossil evidence of feathers on T-Rex itself yet.
Okay.
But two smaller Tyrannosaur relatives from China, Yutyrannus and Dulong, have been found with preserved feathers.
So if those relatives had feathers, is it possible that T-Rex did too? Even if we haven't, found proof yet?
Exactly. It suggests feather-like structures were there in the T-Rex lineage. These feathers wouldn't have been for flight.
Of course.
Probably warmth or display, like some birds use them today.
Wow. So maybe T-Rex wasn't the, scaly monster we always see.
Maybe not. It's changing how we think about these creatures.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question
Yeah.
before we move on. Were female T-Rexes, larger and stronger than the males?
The big question.
I know.
Not enough evidence to say for sure. Very hard to tell the sex of a dinosaur just from fossils.
So we need more fossils to solve that mystery.
Exactly. There's still so much we don't know. But with new discoveries, new technology, we're getting closer to the truth about Tyrannosaurus rex.
This has been incredible. We've covered so much: anatomy, senses, hunting, and even their bathroom habits. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back to delve into even more T-Rex mysteries.
Back again. Our deep dive into T-Rex covered a lot, but there's always more to discover.
Right. Oh, for sure. We've talked anatomy, senses, but what about, T-Rex behavior? How much do they actually have to eat to fuel that massive body?
That's a question that's always fascinated paleontologists. Based on their size, estimated metabolism, a T-Rex would have needed a ton of meat, dozens of kilos daily, like a whole cow every few days, probably.
Wow. A serious appetite. So did they only hunt big dinosaurs? Or would they go after smaller stuff too?
Probably opportunistic hunters, targeting, whatever was around, provided the most energy, while a triceratops would have been a feast. Smaller dinosaurs, even carrion, probably part of the diet.
Makes sense. Why pass up a free meal, right?
Exactly. But speaking of meals, how did they actually hunt? Did they, use those legs, chase down prey?
I've always wondered that.
Remember we talked about their size, limiting them to a brisk walk? Those legs, power over speed, not built for sprinting long distances.
Right. So they couldn't really outrun anything. How'd they catch anything then?
We think maybe a mix of things. Ambush tactics, strategic attacks relying on those keen senses to locate prey, then those powerful jaws for the crushing bite.
More brains than speed, huh?
Exactly. A lot more intelligent and strategic than the movies show.
Okay, so we've debunked the speedy T-Rex myth. But could T-Rex roar? Those movies always have them, roaring. Is there any science to back that up?
It's a tough one. We can't know for sure. Just from fossils, vocalizations don't really fossilize.
So just guesses.
Not entirely. We can look at their closest living relatives, birds and crocodiles, for clues.
Okay.
Some scientists believe T-Rex might have made deep, rumbling sounds, like crocodiliums, not a high-pitched roar.
So more of a low growl.
Yeah, that'd shake the ground, though.
Still pretty scary.
Definitely. A good way to intimidate rivals, announce their presence.
Can you imagine? Okay, last question on behavior. Did T-Rexes, take care of their young? Dinosaur parenting? Always curious about that.
Another mystery. We're working on it. Limited fossil evidence of young T-Rexes, so we don't know a lot about their development, early on, or how much care they got.
So we don't know if they were, good parents?
Aye.
Or just laid eggs and took off?
Exactly. But there's research going on. Tyrannosaur nesting sites, family groups. Maybe future discoveries will give us answers. That's the exciting part. Always something new.
I love that. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Misconceptions about T-Rex. You mentioned the tail dragging. What are some others?
Oh, there's the one about T-Rex having bad vision, that they could only see movement.
I think I've heard that.
Remember those forward-facing eyes?
Yeah.
Excellent binocular vision, maybe even 3D perception.
Wow, so pretty advanced vision.
More than we thought, for sure.
Mm.
They could see their prey clearly, even far away.
Amazing how much we're learning. Always changing. Okay, how about this one? Did T-Rexes live alongside Stegosaurus? I always see that, like in kids' books and stuff.
That's a classic example of, like, pop culture messing with timelines.
Yeah.
Stegosaurus lived millions of years before T-Rex. Jurassic period. They never would have met.
Really? I had no idea. Important to know the facts, I guess.
Absolutely. And speaking of messing with facts, another misconception, that all dinosaurs were huge, lumbering giants.
Right.
Some were, sure, but lots were small, even chicken-sized.
That's funny to imagine. Little guys run around T-Rex's feet. Right. Okay, so we've done anatomy, behavior, misconceptions. What else you got about T-Rex?
Well, let's look at what the fossils tell us about their growth, their lifespan, their family tree, the whole dinosaur lineage. Ready to keep going?
Absolutely. Hit me with it. All right, we've busted some T-Rex myths, explored their hunting, their senses, but what about their growth? Those little hatchlings growing into, bus-sized adults. How did that happen?
It's incredible, really. T-Rex hatchlings from the fossils we have were probably about the size of a chicken.
A chicken. Seriously.
Yep. It's a good reminder. Even the scariest creatures start small. But the cool part, their growth spurt during adolescence.
So they didn't just, slowly get bigger?
Nope. Exponential growth, hundreds of pounds a year. Imagine going through puberty like that.
Whoa. So how long to reach full size?
Maybe 15 to 20 years, we estimate.
Still pretty short for something so huge. Speaking of which, how long did T-Rex live anyway? We talked about it earlier, but I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, based on those bone growth rings, about 30 years.
So, tiny hatchling to apex predator in a few decades. Intense.
It is. Shows how adaptable they were. Evolutionary success story.
Totally. Now, let's zoom out a bit. Where does T-Rex fit in? The whole dinosaur family tree, I mean? Related to anyone we might know?
Well, T-Rex belongs to the theropods, bipedal, meat-eating dinosaurs, Velociraptor, Allosaurus, that kind of crowd.
Wait, Velociraptor? Like the ones from Jurassic Park?
Those guys? Although the movie exaggerated their size a bit. And, well, the feathers. We know about those now.
Right. So despite being, totally different sizes and looks, T-Rex and Velociraptor are, distant cousins.
You got it. Shared a common ancestor. Millions of years back. Evolution is amazing, right? It's so much diversity from one lineage.
Okay, before we wrap up, one last thing. What happened? To T-Rex and all the dinosaurs, why'd they go extinct?
Well, like we said, T-Rex was one of the last ones standing, end of the Cretaceous period, and then bam, that asteroid hit.
The one that wiped them all out. Learned about that in school.
That's the one. Total devastation. Wildfires, tsunamis, climate change, the whole 9 yards. Changed life on Earth forever.
And T-Rex, most other dinosaurs just couldn't handle it.
Nope. But their extinction, that made way for the mammals, eventually us. So in a way, we owe it all to the dinosaurs.
Wow. Deep. We've learned so much today. Anatomy, behavior, extinction, evolution, the whole shebang. I see T-Rex in a whole new light.
Glad to hear it. They really do capture the imagination, T-Rex and all the amazing prehistoric life.
And who knows? Maybe someday we'll find a T-Rex fossil with feathers or proof they took care of their babies. The possibilities are endless. So to everyone listening, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the world's full of incredible stories just waiting to be discovered. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Tyrannosaurus Rex.